I'm a bit nervous today because Mum always admired speakers who could speak without notes. So I'm here without notes and I've probably forgotten nearly everything. So welcome. So I'd like to invite you to just close your eyes for a moment and just remember a time you had with Anne. Maybe now you can see an image of her face, you can hear her laughter. You can remember the quality of her beingness. And this ceremony is really an honour to your memory of Anne. So Mum was born in the Mallee district, which, as we all know, is 351 kilometres northwest of Donovan's restaurant. Her father was a bank manager. Her mother was a secretary. And she was born in 1936 in a place called Sea Lake. Sea Lake is so named because it has an occasional body of water, which could be a sea, could be a lagoon, could be a pond, could be a fjord, could be a billabong, could be a lake, could be an ocean. But Sea Lake seemed to cover most of what was happening there. And that seemed to be Mum's life. Mum was destined to be in the Mallee, to travel around rural Victoria with her father as a bank manager. Then in 1939, her mother died. And what followed was a really extraordinary, generous and bold decision. And that was for Anne to be raised by an aunt and uncle on page 57 of the Millways. Douglas Knight was a junior solicitor for Oswald Burton Co. And Mary Knight, I think, just had a full-time job being Mary Knight. And Mum was forever grateful for that decision and the generosity that Mary and Papa, Doug and Mary, really had for Anne. They were generous. Mum recalls was not particularly phenomenal with affection, but she remembers the quality of their support. They sent her to Shelford, they sent her to Merton Hall. Mum did a year of modelling, which she didn't like, and ended up as a nurse for the Royal Melbourne. And the main reason she was a nurse was because it allowed her to get out of home. Really, that was the primary driving thing, being a nurse. And just to quote Linda Goodman's Sunsiders, she was a double Gemini, which means that she was phenomenal. She had blistering speed and efficiency. So Mum was one of the youngest theatre nurses that the Royal Melbourne had ever had. And really from there, if I think about Anne's life, really the essence of it is love. It really is love. So there are 6 or 7 kind of key themes that defined Anne. So the first love that Anne had after nursing was a love of life. Mum loved life. She inherited some money and decided 2 things quickly. Firstly, she was going to spend it. And secondly, it's going to be as far away from home as possible. So she and some of her nursing friends travelled around Europe. And Mum would regale the family with stories of her trying to stretch the thin budget, as thin as it possibly could go. So she would tell stories of staying in youth hostels with Northern European women who loved hiking but not showering. At one stage she was in Paris in a youth hostel, and to save money they bought the cheapest tinned meat they could. They thought it was tuna, and it was, on closer inspection, Tanzania lion. Mum vowed then and there she would do this, but do this better. And on the cruise ship home, she saw this glamorous looking woman on the rails of the ship, got talking with her, and she turned out to be a Qantas air hostess. Mum heard 3 things: cheap flights, free accommodation, 5-star hotels. She was sold. So she became an air hostess for 4 years with Qantas. She used to talk about, she was loosely based in Sydney, but her life was largely an itinerary. Paris, Rome, London, New York, San Francisco. She once boasted that she had 300 pairs of shoes. I think that's probably her 8th love of shoes. Her next great love of her life was James Barry Thornton. Mum met Dad at a party in Sydney, where, according to Mum, Barry lectured her for what seemed like hours on the joys and rules of rugby union. Somewhere between comparing and contrasting rugby union with rugby league, when she should have appropriately fallen asleep, she fell in love. And Barry promised her, if you come with me, life with me will never be dull. And Anne sensed that there was a promise of great things with Barry, a promise of great things. The first great thing after they were married was travelling to Warbush in Canada. Warbush is a town so remote the Canadians can barely be bothered to map it. It is 1,500 kilometres north of Montreal. It makes the Mallee look overpopulated. It's minus 23 in January, wind chill of minus 67, newlywed and living in a mining town. Mum used to joke 300 pairs of shoes and not a snow boot amongst them. Mum would recall that one of the highlights was travelling to a town where she saw the locals sticking their hand into an open barrel and pulling out fistfuls of salted beef. This was a culinary delight that predated the Mayflower. And yet still, in all of this, Mum thrived. Mum, it seemed, would follow Barry anywhere. And she has no regrets about that time. Mum had found her life partner, her true love, and she was following him. The next great love for Anne was family. Coming back to page 57 of the Melways, Tina, Sue and myself grew up. I'm a bit embarrassed about sharing this, but Anne, as a way to show her love for family, decided that it would be a great idea for all the kids to have a 4-course cooked breakfast every morning. She was awesome. I'll come back to family later. The next great love, really, for Anne was love as demonstrated through sacrifice. In the mid-70s, when times were tough, Mum ended working back at Florence Nightingale as a nurse again, 5 nights a week. And that had a huge cost on the relationship with Barry. And also it was largely different because Mum was making the sacrifice to put 3 kids through private school and to feed us 4-course breakfast every morning. The times were tough. The next great love for Mum was the love of God and the love of learning. Mum loved to learn. In 1979, she had studied with a Vedic meditation master and studied with him and his wife for 30 years. It sounds strange now, but back in 1979, it must have been extraordinary. Mum loved learning. She threw herself in it, and she did Lou Tice courses. She studied something called New Age Thinking, goals, affirmations, teams of Our Lady, alpha dynamics, transactional analysis, all these things. She loved learning, and she loved sharing that learning more. As an example, every day on the whiteboard at home, Mum would write a word, the word of the day, which during our 4-course breakfast, she would have up there words like sub rosa, the history, the meaning, and how to use it. And we hated it at the time. We kind of loved it. The next great love for Anne was really work. In the late 70s, early 80s, Mum became a director of a childcare centre, and for the next 30 years was director of two childcare centres. And as kids growing up, I think Mum had the impact of maybe 3,000 to 4,000 people, kids, staff, parents, got the benefit of Mum's learning and wisdom. As kids, we grew up and we would hear every day about Mum's views on tough love, Mum's views on the naughty corner, Mum's views on tough questions like who's really in charge, the parent or the child. I have a naughty corner today in my house, and I don't even have kids. Sometimes I put myself in there until I've really made a clear decision about what would be more appropriate behaviour. And so for the 3 C's, the staff were the 2 Annies, Andrew, Susie, and Joy. And for the members of the Chocolates Childcare Centre who are here today, Sue Brewer, Laura, Ashley, Natalie, Jay, Tash, and Tricia. Close? Really, thank you on behalf of the family for all the work that you've done to really keep the centre running. I'm just wondering if you're all here, who's actually kids. The next part of love was for Anne was love. Love as letting go. I remember when Dad was passing. I remember the example of Mum having the courage to throw her arms around Barry when he was in a wheelchair at Christmas time in 2000, and had the courage to say, Barry, you are so loved, and if it's your time to go, we let you go. Such an extraordinary example of Mum's loving. I'm going to need tissues here soon. So. The last example of love for Mum really was family. And when Dad passed, family became her everything. And for the 3 kids, she was really an unstoppable force. She was powerful. She felt like an ocean of love. Relentlessly positive, incredibly affirming. To the 3 in-laws, Rob, Tim, Charlotte, she was open heart, open arms, instantly part of the family. And to the 5 grandkids, Nick, Dave, Adam, Charlotte, Hugo, she was loving in 1,000 simple, everyday ways. So I think the essence of Anne was love. And Anne was born in the Mallee, but she grew up answering 3 great questions in life. And she answered them beautifully. Who do you love? Who loves you? And what has been the quality of your life?